Everyone, and welcome back. We are back. Friendly Differences 2.0. I am Solid Blue Sister with my co-host and friend.
The outspoken one, Dread is Fab. I missed all of you, and I have a question. Did you miss me?
I did miss you. I did miss you. So I can only speak for myself. Can't speak for everybody else.
Ah,
So,
they missed
yeah.
me too.
But all right, y'all. So today we're going to talk about a topic that might be hard for some people to hear, but it's assisted suicide, and we're going to get into some suicide also. Should it be legalized? Now, I'm in California. We can do a lot of stuff in California, and it is legal. So, Drip, what do you think? Do you think that suicide, assisted suicide, should be legalized?
Well, before we get started, I want to issue a trigger warning to any people who are suffering from depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. We will be speaking about a very sensitive topic, which is suicide. We will be speaking about illnesses may may qualify for assisted suicide. So please, I encourage everyone here, if you need to step away, I encourage you to do so. Take a breath, get some water. This is not an easy topic to talk about. Um, it will get deep, it will get very heavy hitting, but it is something that needs to be spoken about. And to answer your question, yes, I do believe in assisted suicide, or as it is called, aid in dying.
Okay, so you're familiar with Dr. Kevorkian,
Yes,
whatever.
perfect.
Okay, so he ended up going to prison. And when that whole thing first started, when it first came out, I was like, I don't know. And then I threw out my God thing. I said God should be the only one, whatever. But as time went on, and I've been feeling like this for quite some time now, like Catholics believe that suicide is a sin. Um, but they think a lot of things are sin, but they let a lot of things go. But that's another show. But anyway, that's another show.
Hold
But
up, hold up.
but I think that when people get to the point where they're in so much pain that they just can't take it anymore, but they're not able to perform suicide on their own, so they need some help. Um, if you have someone that's willing to do that, I don't see anything that's wrong. Because let me ask this: what's the difference between assisted suicide and a DNR? Do not resuscitate. Because you
Well,
said, well, hold on, because I was just going to say, because you have some doctors who they don't like DNRs. They feel that if their patient is needs help, they should be able to go in and save them.
I think those doctors, they take the first rule very seriously. The first rule of the Hippocratic Oath, which is first
First, do
do
no
no
harm.
harm.
Hmm.
So the difference between assisted suicide and a DNR, the best the best thing I can do is give you an example. You have someone who is dying of brain cancer, pancreatic cancer, a cancer that is sure to take them out of here. Why should they have to suffer if they don't want to, when they know what's coming down the pipeline? Pancreatic cancer for sure. I had an aunt pass away from pancreatic cancer. It is devastating and it is painful. Brain cancer. I just buried a classmate, 37 years old. He lost his hearing. He was in pain. He was on life support. Now he went on his own in the end, but how much did he suffer? Now the DNR, a friend of mine, her wife is in a vegetative state and has been for 5 years. 5 years, not a sound, not a movement. There is no hope at recovery. If she, if some miraculous thing happened and she woke up, her quality of life is gone. Now, they cannot pull her feeding tube. That is unethical. And unfortunately, they don't live in one of the 11 states that has assisted suicide. So now you have a division between the family who is mad at this one person. One group of people is angry, the other group of people is like, hey, it is what it is. Should that vegetative person remain in that vegetative state for another 3, 5, or even 10 years? That is torture. They should be able to have a suicide assisted. Same as somebody who's gonna die in 6 months. What's the difference between pretty much a vegetative state just prolongs their existence? They're existing, they're not living, versus somebody who has death for sure. See?
So, why do you think that some states say yes and some states say no? And I don't want to get into the whole politics of red, blue, whatever. I'm just saying, like, why do you think that?
Let's see. But see, you would have to. You have to. The states that allow, and this is a teachable moment. The states that allow medical aid in dying: California, Colorado, District of Columbia, Hawaii, Maine, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington. That's a mix of red and blue.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get politics into it because, let's face it, the Republicans love God or love to preach about him. But we have Republican states that have assisted suicide. I think that it just goes to the heart of people feeling like no one has the right to play God. Not even the person who is going to suffer. You have certain religions that don't take medication. They don't have. I grew up in an Islamic household, so there is no life support in Islam. If that person is going, you let them go. You do not keep them on machines. There's a lot of things you don't do. Suicide, just like the Catholics, is frowned upon in Islam. Suicide as a whole is a stigma.
Okay, but once again, when you say, or when people say that you shouldn't play God, aren't you playing God when you take that life support, you plug it into the wall? And it's, I mean, I'm just saying, aren't you playing God when that doctor comes and they're beating on your chest to get that heartbeat? Aren't you? I mean, aren't they playing God? I mean,
they feel as though they're prolonging life. They're trying to save this person's life. But if a doctor tells you, hey, listen, this person has a traumatic or an anoxic brain injury, they are going to be vegetative. The gray brain matter is white, and brain cells cannot regenerate.
Right.
This person has pancreatic cancer. This person has brain cancer. They are going to die. They're going to die anyway. Let them go peacefully. When I saw the special on Dr. Kevorkian, I was like, what is this man doing time for? He didn't push him off of a building. He gave them a peaceful end.
But I think towards the end, I think that people really started to see that what he was doing, it wasn't wrong, especially if everyone who he assisted was over the age of 18.
Yes.
Or if it was a state where it was 21, everybody was of age. And I'm going to answer this question first. So can't say that Solid didn't answer the question. I'm going to answer the question first. And then I'd like for you to answer. If you don't want to, that's fine.
Okay.
If someone came to me asking me to help them, I don't think that I could. I don't think that I could. I don't think that I would be able to ask someone to help me. I think that I would, whatever it was, I would try to set it up in advance where I can do it on my own. Like if I got to the point where I was too weak or something, I don't know, have a string, something, whatever, to do it, because I think that you're are you putting, I mean, I think you're putting people on the spot when you ask them, unless they really want to help, unless they've given you those clues that if you ever decide to do this, I'm there. But I don't think that I don't think that I could.
I could.
Okay.
I
All right.
absolutely could. Um,
All right.
I would have tears in my eyes the whole time because it's a very somber moment. Um, we very seldomly do you get to be with somebody in their last moments. A lot of people don't get to see babies be born, but to be there when somebody takes their last breath, imagine how that person feels. They don't want to die in pain, alone, so on and so forth.
But
So,
dying alone, I mean, I could be in the room with you. If somebody else was doing it, I mean, I don't mind, I mean, being in the room with you, but to actually be the one to push that button to give you that shot to unplug the machine, whatever. I don't know that I could do it.
well, let's see, because I looked up some things. The criteria for assisted suicide: the patient must be at least 18 years or older. The patient must be a resident of a state where they seek medical aid in dying. The patient must have a terminal illness and is expected to die within 6 months. The patient must be mentally competent and able to make and communicate their own healthcare decision. The patient must make multiple requests to their physician, both oral and written, and wait for a specific period of time before receiving the prescription medication. And the patient must self administer the medication. And see, that is where it gets tricky because I'm with you on I don't want to press the button. I don't want to crunch up the medication and put it in the water and say, here you go, because then that's manslaughter or murder. I can be there with you. I have no problem being there with you. But when it comes to the legalities and the criminality part of it, that's where I would have to draw the line because you're dead. You don't have to worry about legal representation. I do. So yes, I would be there, and I would hope that whoever is asking me can can do it themselves, and I'll sit there and
Okay, so
will
then
hear
where
them
does
out.
the assist come in? Because there's no assist. If you have to do everything on your own, I'm just there. I'm not assisting you. I mean, if the criteria is that you have to be the one that does everything, then where does the assist come in?
I think the assist comes in where you're there to the assistance comes in. You're there to take their pulse, see that they're no longer breathing. They don't have a pulse. They don't have a heartbeat. They're not breathing. Um, you're there to, if they tell you, hey, listen, before you call for help, wait an hour so you know that I'm gone, I'm out. You let them know I don't want to be cremated. I don't want to be this. It's.
Okay, because Dr. Kevorkian, he was pressing buttons. He was he was
That's why he's in prison.
but I'm just saying. But even so, first of all, I did not know about the 6 month rule. I knew there was a period of time, but to me, 6 months is too short because in 6 months I could rapidly go down. My health could just rapidly just whatever in 6 months. So in 6 months, when I have to administer everything myself, I'm in pain a year from now. I've been in pain for a year. I want to go now. I don't want to wait until I'm to the point where I just can't do anything on my own anymore. 6 months to me is not enough time.
Well, a friend of mine told her husband if she ever gets sick, and this is the truth. She said, if I ever get sick, I'm gonna take myself out of here. And he was like, you don't want me to help you? She said, mm-mm. She said, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the store. You give me, if I'm too weak to do it myself, you give me whatever I'm going to take. And then you go to the store and you come back and tell them, hey, I came back and she had done this. She said, make sure you go to the store for at least 30 to 45 minutes. So, because then you got to get into the science of things. Rigor mortis, how long it takes for the body to stop functioning. Somebody who's sick, it ain't going to take long anyway.
Right.
But yeah, the assist comes in to, hey, go get me the glass of water. You're not giving them the pills. You're just giving them the water to swallow the pills. You don't necessarily know what they're going to do. It's so many ways you could dance around this. I'm just very pro assisted suicide because I've seen sick people and nobody should have to exist if they don't want to.
Okay. Now,
Especially,
having said that, I'm reading the chat and I see that there was a comment made about suicide. Would you ever stop someone who wanted to commit suicide?
yes, due to
So,
illness, due to depression, yes. And here's why. I suffer from depression. And when I tell you some days are worse than others, oh, they are. And that deep, dark place, it is ugly. But what keeps me on this earth, aside from I'm just having too much fun watching all of you crazy motherfuckers, but what keeps me on this earth is with suicide, you can't change your mind tomorrow. Once it's done, it's done. And I know that even if Monday and Tuesday was bad and half of Wednesday was bad, I'm going to be okay. I have to be okay. And I realize that everyone is not strong like that. So if I got to sit with you to keep you on this earth, I'm going to sit with you. If I got to call out of work to just sit with you so you can cry, so you can sleep, so we can watch, a Family Guy marathon, I'm going to keep you on this earth. I'm going to let you know that there is somebody here who loves you, who cares about you, who doesn't want to stand over you. Please stay here. You're a part of this world. You bring something to this world. I'm going to miss you. Don't be a sorrow story for me. Don't do that. Call me if you need me. No matter what hour, no matter what time. I've done it at work. Somebody called me up and I'm like, all right, give me a minute. Let me go off the property so I can talk to you. Hey, what's going on? Talk to me. But that's mental. We're talking about physical. We know, physically, that you're going. The doctors have said there's nothing else we can do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's nothing else we can do. I go to a cancer center to get iron infusions. I'm around cancer patients. So I've seen these people. So maybe it's a bias on my part.
okay, so I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to offend anyone. All right, but I'm again, some things I'm have some questions have to be asked. Do you think that people who commit suicide that they're selfish in the sense that you're leaving people behind who are going to be devastated, that you may make them depressed if you're in a depressive state, that you may put them in, you may throw them into that cycle?
Um, no, I don't think that they're selfish. I think that they're human. They just want the pain to stop. Now, how you do it, that's a little bit different. Unfortunately, I watched a man throw himself in front of a train. Um, when you throw yourself in front of a train, the engineer has to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
The conductor
Mm-hmm.
has to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
The mechanic has to inspect that train.
Mm-hmm.
The facility that train goes to, there is a power wash of about 400 degrees of hot water. It has to go through there so that we can get it all off so it can get back in service. People who do it, I just, it's like, I feel for any children who ever had to find their parents. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. I'm like, come on, that was selfish.
I
You
mean,
did
but
it.
see, but that's what I'm saying, because even if you throw yourself in front of that train, or you throw yourself in front of that car, that conductor, that driver, is like they're living with this. So now you've now put trauma on someone else who probably never would have had that, and they're now depressed. They're now in a state that you were once in, but you just put me there. You put me in a place where I probably would not have been.
Right. I understand. I understand. It's like I said, it's a double edged sword. Like I said, I think certain ways is selfish, but I don't think the actual act is selfish. I think they're in pain and they just want it to stop. And one of the things that you always hear is, I never thought he would have done that. I never thought she would have done that. He always had a smile on his face. She always, made everybody feel good. And most of the time, people who are suffering from depression and want to commit suicide, they're trying to keep the laughter going. They're trying to make people feel the happiness that they themselves want to feel.
So what? Okay, so what do you think? What Marlon says: do suicide hotlines help or stop it? I mean,
I really don't know. I was just in Jersey um, Friday. I saw so many suicide hotline billboards. And I was asking a friend of mine, I said, is it really this bad? To where we have, I mean, I constantly see it when I'm at work on the side of buses and on trains. And now I'm seeing it on billboards. And I'm like, is the suicide hotline helping, or is it not helping? Because all of these, is this thing getting worse? Because I'm seeing it everywhere. So I'm really not sure if the suicide hotline are helping. Maybe they're having people talk about it. Like, hey, what's wrong, buddy? What's going on?
so do you think that people who want to go through with assisted suicide, do you think they call the hotlines? Do you think that they talk to them?
I don't know. Because you have to remember, those people at the assisted suicide hotline, they are trained to tell you certain things. They're trained to say, no, this isn't the way. They have, and I hate to put this out
No,
there.
no, no. I'm talking about the person that has cancer and they're in pain, whatever. They were to call this hotline. Do you think that they would ever call? I mean, do you think that a hotline could change their mind and say, you know what, I know you're in
I don't
pain,
know.
but okay, I'm just
What the hell you want? If you know that you're gonna die in the next 3 months, and I say, hey, you have so much to live for, you're gonna tell me to get the fuck out of here. What do I have to live for? What do I have to live for if I got 3 to 6 months left? If my hair has fallen out, I'm tired, I'm weak, my stomach hurts, everything hurts. It hurts to move. It hurts to do anything. My life as I knew it is gone. I can't run. I can't jump. I can't roller skate. I can't go swimming. Everything hurts. My family is watching me deteriorate. And I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for cancer. I didn't ask for any of this. But they have to bear the brunt of it while I'm here and after I'm gone. I want out.
okay. Here's one for you. That person on death row, they know that on December 1st they're going to die. So I have all these people around me watching me to make sure I don't take my own life. This is like you're cheating the state. But wouldn't it be better if they did just take their own life, because it's saving the taxpayers how many thousands of dollars and manpower? So
Dumb and
if you want to kill yourself before December 1st, have have at it. because I don't
I
think that
think so.
I don't think you're cheating the state at all. If you want to take yourself out, go right ahead.
I think that that's another show in its entirety. The death penalty, pros, cons, and are you for or against? There is a show for us. But I guess some people feel like, oh no, let justice be dispensed to you because you killed my loved one, or you did this, or you did that. So I think that, yeah, let them off themselves, especially if they're accused of accused and tried and convicted of a heinous crime. Yeah, let them take themselves out. Some of them don't deserve to breathe anyway.
Okay. Well, Marlon has questions today. Do you believe that killing yourself sends you to hell? No, I don't.
I don't believe in heaven or hell because I'm a proud atheist. Next.
I do believe that there is a heaven or hell. I do believe that there is some place that we can go. It may not be heaven, may not be called hell, but I do believe that there are two distinct places. But I don't think that killing yourself sends you to hell. Um, I mean, that's the choice you made. That's the choice that you made. And and it's sad that, going back to Catholics, it's sad that some religions, that if you kill yourself, you can't be buried in this cemetery,
Yeah,
or we can't speak your name in church, or whatever. I mean, that I think is
yeah. They
I think
actually
that's
cannot have a
crazy.
cat. Yeah, they will not
Yeah,
have them like what is it? They can't have like mass or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
just
crazy.
find that funny as hell. Hey, if you commit suicide, you can't have a proper burial. If you molest boys, hey, we'll send you on and give you your last rites. That's nice, isn't it? Oops.
So for assisted suicide, if you went to the doctor, you weren't feeling well, I'm gonna do all these tests. I'm sorry, salad. Um, you have cancer, um, or you have a tumor or something, and it's going to kill you. Okay, doctor, how long do I have? You probably have a good two years, and then you're gonna go downhill. Um, do you think people would look at me crazy if I said, you know what, I'm not gonna deal with this 2 years. I'm just gonna take myself out now, or
I think so. I think people would look at you like that because they would say, "Oh my God, like 2 years is a long time. Anything could happen. Glory be to God." All of that stuff that you religious people say. They would probably say, keep praying and try this and try that. Let's try this treatment. Let's try that treatment. It is, and that's why suicide is taboo. It is the natural instinct of man to preserve one's life. So when
but
you have
okay,
something
but I don't.
I
I mean,
want to do,
but I don't, because I've always said, DNRs, definitely, because I don't want my family to pay for hospital bills to keep me alive if I know that I'm going to die. Number one, and number two, you know, 2 years is a long time, and anything can happen. But we've all seen people who they're diagnosed, they look healthy and everything, and then you see them 6 months later and they're thinner, their face is gaunt. You see them 6 months later, and they're in a wheelchair. I don't want to go out like that. I
I
don't
am
I don't I don't I don't want to be that person who's hunched over and can't talk, and I'm in hospice, and my family has spent all this money doing this and this and this, whatever. I don't want to, go out like that.
absolutely, and I feel like this. I tell people, I implore people to think about this. I suffer from migraines,
Mhm.
so if I want to put myself in the shoes of somebody who has brain cancer, I think about what if I had a migraine every day of the week. And these doctors are saying, this is how you're going to feel. Now, we can give you some drugs that's going to have you nodding and you can't even function, but it's either be in pain and be aware of the pain or take the meds and just conk out.
Mhm.
That's not, like you said, that's not living, that's existing. And trigger warning, I'm about to bring up something that some people may remember. Do we remember how AIDS ravished through the 80s and 90s and how devastating it was? We remember if you got diagnosed in February of 81, you was gone by December of 81, and that was
Mhm.
being generous. The lesions, the diarrhea, the vomiting, everything, the cancer, the pneumonia, everything, and nothing helped. We lost a lot of people to that. How many of those people took themselves out because they knew what was coming down the pipeline? And see, as an EMT, we are trained to deal with suicides. For instance, if most of the time when someone is trying to take themselves out, I'm going to address Marlon in a minute. They don't want to hurt anybody else. They just want to hurt themselves. So if we get someone who has turned the car on and locked themselves in the garage, they'll sometimes leave a note outside of the door, or they'll leave a big ass poster like, hey, carbon monoxide poisoning, proceed with caution. They don't want to hurt anybody. So it it's such a double-edged sword. Somebody who's sick, they know they're sick. They know that there's no hope. And I get it. I don't crap on anybody's beliefs. If you're a Christian and you believe God heals, miracles happen every day. I get that. But tell that to somebody who's had a headache for a year. Tell that to somebody who's had a stomach ache for a year. Tell that to somebody who's lost 50 pounds in a year, who hasn't been able to go to the gym, who's had to leave work. You know what I mean?
Did you want to address Marlon?
Chris Benoit killed himself and his family. Good man all around, but did a heinous act. I don't know. It's weird. Yes, Chris Benoit. In case anybody doesn't know the backstory, Chris Benoit was a WWE wrestler, and he, in a fit of roid rage, killed his wife, his son, and then himself. And immediately the WWE, they took all his merchandise off. They don't even speak his name. They don't even have a remembrance because he did such a heinous act. But it was void rage as to why he did that heinous act. He killed himself because somewhere in the recourses of his mind, he probably said, oh my God, look what I've done. I'm out of here.
Now, see, I'm going to say that the whole murder
Oh,
suicide. My thing is this: if you want to kill yourself, don't take me with you. The whole thing about, I'm sorry if I can't have you, no, nobody else can have you. I'm sorry, and if I offend some people, because y'all about to do this, that's being selfish. If you don't want to live because I'm with somebody else or whatever, or whatever, you think your family is this, or you're getting divorced and you don't want your wife to have the kids, or you don't want your husband to have the kids, don't take the kids with you. You go take yourself out and you do that. Don't no.
but if you remember, do you remember Phil Hartman? Phil
Yes.
Hartman's wife, she was suffering from depression, terrible depression. And she was in the house with him for how many days? She had killed him and then killed herself, and
Yeah.
the kids were in there. And I remember, like, okay, she didn't hurt the kids, but thanks for the trauma, mom.
Right. Right. Right.
Something
Right.
they're never gonna get over.
Right.
And he stayed quiet. Nobody really knew. Some people had an idea of what was going on in the house, but nobody really knew the depths of her depression. And he fought so hard to help her. And in the end, she shot him while I believe he was sleeping. Yeah, she shot him while he was
Yeah.
sleeping.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's look at somebody like Robin Williams.
Oh,
Okay. You know, funny guy, to us on the outside, he's this funny guy, makes you laugh, whatever. And then you find out that when he died, it's not because he was in a car accident or he had cancer, whatever. He took himself out. And so along the way, were there signs, these people who, seem so happy and everything's fine, are there, were there signs that he was openly saying, help me, but
no,
I
no.
mean, because
He,
Whoopi
yeah,
Goldberg and Billy Crystal, I mean, his two closest friends were like shocked.
because, see, everybody thinks depression is this. No, depression is, hey, how you doing? How's everybody? Depression is that person who's always laughing, who's always silly. Depression is that person who carries the world on their shoulders and makes it look easy. Look like the Hulk while you're carrying the world on your shoulders the whole time. Your world is crumbling and nobody knows because you don't talk about it. You don't say a word. You don't want to burden anybody with your issues. You deal, you deal, you deal, you deal, you deal until you can't deal. Robin Williams, he did drugs, he did alcohol. It's
Mhm.
Hollywood. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Yeah. Tell me, that's like
Okay,
saying
so
Woody.
okay, so while he's doing those drugs and alcohol, was that his cry for help?
No, because every mainly everybody in Hollywood does drugs. Comedians do Saturday Night Live. Chris Farley didn't mean to kill himself. Died of an accidental drug overdose. But he was one of the most saddest people around. He
You
was
know,
one of the most saddest people.
when I was in entertainment, I read a script that Chris Farley and Eddie Murphy were supposed to do. It was one of the funniest scripts that I ever read. And they never got a chance to do it because Chris Farley passed away. But I mean, just once again, Chris Farley, I mean, he was, like you said, he didn't mean to do it, but he did have a weight issue. So are we sure he didn't mean to do it? Or, I mean,
Chris Farley had been partying straight.
but he, right, but his partying was something that it was like, you need to stop, you need to stop, you need to stop between your partying and your weight and your health, whatever. You need to stop, you need to stop. So
Chris Farley went to rehab 18 times.
this is so okay. So again, it's like, I know I need to stop, but did depression kick in? Did he? I didn't mean to, but I meant to.
I think that could be a thing because he suffered from depression because he was like, oh, I'm tired of being the fat guy. I don't have a girlfriend. He wanted to love someone. He wanted someone to love him. So that's why he bought prostitutes. When he died, he died in his apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and a prostitute left him there. They had been doing cocaine and heroin,
Mm-hmm.
speedballing and shit, and she left him there. And his last words was, "Don't leave me." Right? So he didn't want to die, but maybe a part of him kind of did because he just wouldn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Dick said, look, he said the last time I saw Chris, he was like, come on, let's keep partying. He was like, hey, man, listen, I'm going to go. I'm tapped out. And he stopped answering the phone for him. And he had that same thing, had I answered the phone, he might still be alive. Nobody, and that's where suicide comes in. Unfortunately, I had a coworker take his own life. Um, he had been busted. He had a drug problem, and they drug tested him again, and they were going to fire him. And one of the women I work with, she said, Dred, he was calling me. He was calling me all day. He was calling me all day, and I didn't answer the phone because I just felt like he was going to be, ranting and raving. And I said, listen, that's what he wanted to do. That's what he wanted to do. You didn't have a hand in that. He had a drug problem. He was battling demons that you didn't know about. And that's the thing. Whether you are mentally ill or physically ill, a lot of times you're battling demons nobody knows about.
Yeah.
The demon that you're battling when you're physically ill is your mortality. We come face to face with mortality every time we go to a funeral because I don't know, maybe I'm just a morbid motherfucker, which I am. Whenever I go to a funeral, I'm like, how am I going to look at my casket? How many people are going to show up? Disclaimer. Anybody at my funeral that don't like me, stand up and point them out and say, she didn't like you, bitch.
Well, I mean,
face with it. We come face to face with our mortality when it's physically ill. When someone is mentally ill, they're coming face to face with hopelessness. I'm not beautiful. I'm fat. I'm skinny. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have a girlfriend. No one loves me. My parents, you don't know what demons they're dancing with.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes demons win.
Okay. All right. So Marlon says, how do you feel about mass shooters killing themselves versus the average person killing themselves because of depression? I just want to say once again, these mass shooters, it's like, if you wanted to kill yourself, if that was the ultimate goal and you were going to take yourself out, do it. Don't take 20
Yeah,
people with you.
yeah, like the main shooter. He killed 18 people, and they just found him dead.
And then, I mean, but then he takes them on this manhunt, whatever. Why don't you just offer yourself? Because again, I'm thinking, again, that's where the selfishness comes out. Okay, you may have been pissed about something, but couldn't you gone and just left a note and said, I'm pissed, and then you kill yourself? You don't need to take everybody with you.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I feel like mass shooters, they're the selfish ones. They're the selfish ones. Especially the motherfuckers that don't leave a note. They just leave a whole bunch of memorabilia, flags and all this other shit. Why you just couldn't say, I didn't want to be here because I don't like this country? Why do you have to take out other people? Innocent people. Nobody did nothing to you. If you want to off yourself, there's plenty of bridges. And hey, don't get mad. I just report the news, and we're talking about mass shooters.
Yes, we are.
Mass shooters gets no sympathy from me. I've had bad days, and I didn't go to work or to ShopRite or Walmart and take nobody out. I played Call of Duty. That's what that's for. So mass shooters, they are the selfish ones. Someone taking themselves out because of depression, no, I will never call them selfish. I'll call them human. I'll call them human.
Okay, so
We. I gotta go to work later, and I don't drink hard liquor. Damn.
Mass shooters who end up taking themselves out. And I'm even going to go to the kids in school who go and they shoot up the school and their classmates, whatever. They end up taking themselves out. Do you think those kids who do that are going into school to really target this particular group of people or this particular boy, this particular girl, but so and so just happened to get into the line of fire,
Well,
because it seems like that a lot of these kids who are shooting people, white, who are doing this, white, they seem to have been bullied.
Well, we would have to go back to, what was his name? Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the infamous Columbine shooter.
Columbine shooter. Yeah, I remember that
No,
happened.
they said they would go down in history, and guess what? They
They
absolutely they
yeah,
did.
yeah.
When was Columbine?
1999.
1999. 1999, 24, almost 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We still are going back to Columbine.
Mm-hmm.
Columbine will always live in our mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They were bullied. They did target. They targeted the popular kids.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn white boys. They shot that black boy in the head, asked him if he believed in Jesus, and then shot him point blank range because they had been listening to Nazi propaganda. They had a copy of the Turner Diaries. Who else had a copy of the Turner Diaries?
Mm-hmm.
Timothy McVeigh.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't a mass shooter, so we'll leave him alone for now. But they are targeting. They have something to say. The Virginia Tech shooter, was he bullied?
I'm not sure if the Virginia Tech shooter was, but I find that a lot because see the reason why I go back to this because I go back to, they ended up killing themselves. They ended up committing suicide, but I go back to some of these parents who have these kids who could do no wrong. They're going to school and they're bullying everybody. You're saying, oh, your son's a wuss, your daughter's a wuss, oh, she's too sensitive, whatever. Okay. Their daughter just went and shot your kid, the one that kept bullying her. I mean, they just went and, to me, things can be prevented if we want them to.
I agree because that's what's happening a lot now. Bullying I mean, here's the thing, because a lot of teens are taking their own lives because of bullying. And I'm not just talking about the LGBT community. I'm talking about kids as a whole. First of all, the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic amplified depression and anxiety.
Yeah,
These
it did.
kids are going to need so much therapy and Adderall to focus and to navigate into the world because we were locked in the house for a year. Okay? And people went crazy. It was like solitary confinement. I was stuck in this room for 14 days because I had COVID. And I was like, oh my God, this is what it's like to be in prison. I got to get out of here. I was going nuts after a week. So the suicide and the depression rate is up. So it's like now they're back in school and they don't know how to be around each other. So and see, when me and you was going to school, bullying ended at 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Bullying ended at 3 o'clock. And bullying ended when you said, you know what? I got something for you. We going
We
outside.
gonna go out and we gonna duke it out.
And,
Yep.
and afterwards, I don't want
Yep.
no hard feelings either.
Yep.
Bullying doesn't end at 3 o'clock. Bullying can be 24 hours because we got these
Social
and we
media.
have these.
Right.
So now you have different people. We got text apps. So I can block you 5 or 6 times, but you can make another number and continuously harass me and make little memes and gifs and videos of taunting. So now I don't see any other way out but then to take myself out. But before I take myself out, I'm taking you with me.
So, do you think that schools, because I think teen suicide is up, and guys, I know we're talking about sister suicide, but teen suicide.
Suicide is suicide, y'all.
Do you think that schools are aiding and abetting suicide because
Yes.
because they're so afraid of being sued by the parent? They're so afraid of, well, we can't say that, we can't do that. Okay, but now you got this little girl who didn't come to school today because she's hanging from her closet door or whatever.
They inadvertently help with suicide because it used to be if somebody kept picking with you, you could say, I'm going to kick your ass.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher, hey, you watch your language. Now, I'm going to kick your ass is a terroristic threat. But that parent that's been going to school for 3 months, this kid is bothering my child. This kid has done this. This kid has done that. They're harassing them on the bus. They're harassing them at home. Well, we don't have proof, and there's really nothing we can do. We're going to try to mediate. You're not doing anything. And then, like you said, the parents, oh, well, my child ain't doing that. And like you said, your child is just a wuss. So, yeah, first of all, they don't even allow parents to, you remember parent-teacher conferences. Me and you were fighting. They called your mama, they called my mama, they called me and you down, and all 4 people were in the office. They don't do that anymore because it's gotten so heated with parents. So it's either I'm going to bring something to school and I'm taking you out, or I'm going to take you out when I see you in the neighborhood, or some things need to go back to how we used to do it, in the 90s. In the 80s, in the 70s. I'll see you at 3 o'clock. I'm going to beat your ass. Because you know what? It was a lot less suicides when it was, we going to the park and we going to scrap. And win, lose, or draw, you ain't going to mess with me no more.
Yeah, because suicide is up all over the place. You have people who are so pissed off at their jobs that they're going in, they're taking everybody out, then they're killing themselves. Right. I'm just saying, and I've been making my little comments up under my breath, but I've been saying it, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. I find that a lot of these suicides, a lot of these people who go out with do these mass shootings and suicides, and I'm gonna get some slack back on this, are a particular group of people. They're usually white people who are going out, killing people, going out shooting everybody, and then they off themselves.
There's no lie there.
Okay, so why is that? And I also want to say that when you look at assisted suicide, because I did look these numbers up, a lot of the people who do assisted suicide, they're white.
Well, there are no more religious people than black people. Okay, black people love God, and black people will pray and pray and pray till their dying day. They're not going to commit suicide because their God is bigger than any disease or illness that man can tell them. That doctor did not bring you into this world. He does not have the power to take you out, but Jesus has the glory to heal you. By his stripes, he said, so shall you be healed. Right. So that's why black people ain't doing that, because of the religious indoctrination. Suicide is a stigma. They're not doing that. White people, on the other hand, first of all, the mass shooters take themselves out because don't nobody dodge accountability like white people. Okay? So, yeah, I took all of these people out, and I didn't like black people and Mexicans and gay people, but I'm not staying here to face the music. I'm out of here. That's the ins and outs of it. White people don't want the consequences. White people would rather die than face consequences. It's just like Shrek and Fiona. They would rather be ogres than white people. That says a lot. I ain't got no sense, y'all. Don't mind me. White people don't.
Marlon hate. Point taken.
Y'all send love to our moderator, Marlon. He keeps the check on.
Point taken. I mean, he keeps everything in check, and he always asks these hard questions. Uh, you know, we are a strong people. But y'all, again, friendly differences is a show that we keep it respectful, even though some people may not think so, but we do. And we talk about stuff that people don't want to talk about. We are going to say things that you may not like. I mean, and people in the chat, as long as y'all not being nasty or mean to anybody, chat
Yeah,
can say
no,
whatever they want.
we welcome
We yes,
we welcome it. We don't listen. We don't want anybody that agrees with us. That's boring. We want to have a dialogue.
right.
And bottom line here is we're talking about assisted suicide because you know what? More now than ever, cancer is on the rise. Once
Mm-hmm.
upon a time, when you heard somebody had cancer, it was like what? Cancer?
They have cancer.
Right. Now it's like, yeah, I gotta take my aunt to the doctor. She got cancer. Like, huh? Yeah, she got cancer. That's the second time she battled it. My other aunt had cancer too. That's how like it's becoming the norm. And that in itself is sick. That cancer is becoming a thing. Like I said, rest in peace to my classmate, 37 years old, two sons. He just died of brain cancer. I just went to his funeral, not this past Thursday, the Thursday before that. I just buried a 37-year-old classmate from brain cancer. That is young. Solid. What were you doing at 37?
I know what I was doing at 37.
She's living her best life. She
So
wasn't going for chemo.
yeah, yeah,
And none of her friends were going for chemo either.
yeah. And this is why, again, um, when you look at suicide, you have little kids taking their own lives.
Yes.
You have middle-aged people, you have older people, you have old people take.
Everybody just blowing this popsicle stand.
I mean, again, suicide is just something that we need to pay attention to more, and we need to see the warning signs, because I'm pretty sure that there are people out there who have said something to me or whatever, and I'm just went over my head. Um,
Okay.
but I think it's sad that you get to the point where you want to take your own life. If you're not sick, if you are sick and you are dying, if that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do it, because like I said, I don't want to die after I'm withered and I'm hunched over and cancer or whatever has just ravaged me so much. I don't want my family to see me like that. I don't want them to have to deal with that.
That's
Um,
fair.
but if you are one of those people who you gonna kill somebody else and then kill yourself, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. Screw you. Take yourself out. Leave everybody else alone.
I agree. Amen.
If you're having issues, whatever, I'm sorry, but don't take out everybody with you. So,
The warning signs, sometimes you can see them, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're subtle. One of the warning signs is excessive sleeping.
hmm,
Excessive, yes, somebody who just sleeps. They're tired. They've lost interest in activities that they used to be they used to be prevalent. And like me, I love to bowl and play pool and play my PS4. If I don't touch that PS4 for 3 months, one of two things has happened. Either I have been in a deep depression or I have been working 7 days a week. Because as soon as we get off, I'm playing Spider Man. So yeah, um, somebody who says I want to go to sleep and not wake up. They have excessive drug and alcohol abuse. They may have They may engage in dangerous activities such as promiscuity or fast driving. They want to kill themselves, but they want to kill themselves, but they don't want to do it in the you know way or pill way, you know, things like that. They might start making amends. They may start giving away valuables. They may up, update their final will and testament. Start saying, "Hey, listen, buddy, if I'm not around anymore, you remember that time, I hit you upside the head with that popsicle. I'm sorry, forgive me." We're like, "What? We were 8. What the fuck out?" You know, but it goes over our heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all the things you are going through right now, would you kill yourself?
Wait, hold
I
on. Before you answer that, let's he answers this question first. What would you say to people under the age of 18 wanting to take their lives?
There is so much life to live. I promise you're not gonna feel like that forever. If
But okay, but can you really promise that? Because some people do feel like that forever.
I am 37 years old and I have been battling depression for the better part of 20 years, and I have had great days where I actually looked up and said, "I am so glad I didn't take myself out because then I wouldn't be able to behold this." Please go talk to someone. Go talk, and I don't mean to your cousin who's going to say, "Let's drink some Hennessy." No, go talk to a professional, somebody who's not going to judge you, somebody who's going to listen to you. Think about this. You cannot change your mind. You know how you're getting ready to go out and you say, "I don't like this shirt," and you can change it. With suicide, you can't change your mind tomorrow. It's done. It's finished. You
The,
don't
the
know
only
what it brings.
the only thing that I would say to that is, especially if it's somebody who is in high school, grade school, and they're going through that angst of, I'm
If
being
somebody's
teased,
bullying you,
whatever.
whoop their ass.
Seriously, because honestly, in terms of the high school, because I did not like high school at all. I did not. And one thing that I can say is, when you leave, you don't have to see those people anymore. You don't, so if it's something like that, it does get better. But I understand that there may be, for some people, who it may not get better. If you are the heavy set kid who always got teased, whatever, then, and it's not getting better, you go away to school, or you move somewhere and they're still teasing you, then that's when I would have to say, maybe you need to make the change so
I
your
agree.
life gets better. Maybe there's something you need to do to make your life get better. But if it's just the regular, I mean, and I hate to say the regular, because bullying has gotten worse since I've been out of school. I mean, it absolutely has. But just know, when you leave school and you are gone and your senior year is over, you don't have to see those people anymore. They
Yeah.
are like, you don't have to go to the reunions. And if you do go to the reunions, you can say, screw you, whatever. Just
Don't listen to her. Don't wait for the reunion. As soon as you get your diploma, pull your pants down, say "kiss my ass," and leave
No, I'm
home.
saying, because I do know people who have gone to reunions that have totally read people left and right, and they felt good about it. They've been just, I've been one. I'm telling you something. So,
Okay, okay.
but
But I say on graduation day, once you get your
just
certificate,
moon, just moon everybody. Yeah.
yeah, moon them, flip them off,
Oh, hold on.
say "fuck you all very much" and go. But it doesn't rain forever. I promise you it doesn't.
Okay,
Last
now you can read Marlon's last question.
last questions. All the things you are going through right now. Would you kill yourself? Would
No,
I? No. Do I want to sometimes? Yes.
no,
See,
I know.
here's the thing, folks. I ain't gonna tell you everything, but I'll tell you some things. I'll tell you a lot of my truth. I will bear some of my soul because I want y'all to know I'm human. So some people suffer from depression, some people don't, and some days it hurts to smile. It hurts to laugh. And sometimes I need to shift my shoulders and get the world off of it. So yeah, it's real. Depression is real. Anxiety is real. Bipolar is real. Tourette's is real. Mental illness is real. Physical illness is real. So please show people grace and love and empathy. Set aside your Bible, your Quran, your Torah. Put yourself in their shoes. You have not walked their journey. You have not sat down and said, okay, I'm just a little tired. I've been stressed out. And you sat in front of an oncologist and he said, I'm sorry. You have cancer. You have stage 4 cancer. And there's nothing we can do. Just think about that. We know our birthday. We don't know our death day. But cancer and other illnesses accelerate that death day. Just know, now I'm healthy as a horse. I drive an hour to work. I could get on the highway, a truck could come, boom, lights out. I don't know that. That's the adventure. But the adventure is taken from you when you get a diagnosis and says, I'm sorry. So think about that.
This is true, but at the same time, it could make you speed up your bucket list and do all the things that you had an excuse to why you weren't doing them, and now you're actually going to go do all the things that you've always wanted to do because you know that your death date has been accelerated.
Man, listen, I'm gonna go walk around naked. I'm gonna just go outside and check the mail. But
well, I mean, I'm just saying. So
okay, just
if you want to walk around booty button naked, then hey, go do it. Go and do it.
Nah, because if you're dying, when the cops come and say why you do that, I'm dying. I'm going to die in 6 months. So I just went to check the mail, butt ball naked. I wanted a leaf to fly up my ass.
Well, see, this is what I'm saying.
I've had sand up my ass. I want leaves up my ass. Leave me the fuck alone.
Oh Lord, you're killing me. But hey, I mean, and more than likely, they not gonna do anything. More than likely, they are not gonna do anything. So,
like, ma'am, could you go get yourself a robe? You didn't even come out here with pants on, and I'm about to scratch. Boom. Anything else?
See, so hey. Well, I am going to let's see. I am going to play a video. I'm gonna get this right this time because see, I set this up, so we gonna do this. Now. We gonna do this right this time. We gonna do it right. We gonna do it right. Mm-hmm.
Time has run out for me. Everything's distant and I don't know what to believe. It's so hard. I'm lost in the world, confusion, and I need to leave for a while. Life is so meaningless, there is nothing worth a smile. So goodbye, I'll miss you. And I'm sorry, but this is my fate. Everything is worthless. Nobody wants me to stay. And I'm sorry, but I've waited too long. So here's my goodbye. No one will cry over me. I'm not worth any tears. It's been the years of abuse, neglected to treat the disorder that's controlled my youth for so long. I'm in a fleshy tomb buried up above the ground. It's no use. Why should I hold on? It's been 5 years, don't need one more. So goodbye, life's abuse. And I'm sorry, but this is my fate. Everything is worthless. Nobody wants me to stay. And I'm sorry, but I've waited too long. So here's my goodbye. No one will cry over me. I'm not worth any tears. I'm not worth any tears. And I'm sorry, but this is my fate. Everything is worthless. Nobody wants me to stay. And I'm sorry, but I've waited too long. So here's my goodbye. No one will cry over me. So here's my goodbye. No one will cry over me. I'm not worth any tears.
Okay, so that's a song that I've heard over the years, whatever, and I went on YouTube to see if they had it, and I wanted to get the lyrics, whatever, so people can see it. So, I mean, do you think that people get to the point where, you know, they don't care? You know, people will not miss them. It's not a big deal if I take my life.
Yeah, that depression is a lying sack of shit. Depression will have you believing. It's not believing, it's the truth. Life goes on, with or without you, because it does. It has to. That's the cruelty of life. Just because somebody took their own life, these bills still got to get paid. I still got to go to work. I still have to do all of these things. But your life doesn't go on. My life has to go on without you. And I am going to cry over you. I am going to miss you. Every birthday, every time it's your birthday, I'm going to miss you. Every time I see something on TV, I'm going to miss you. Every time football comes on and you're not here to bet with me, I'm going to miss you. Every time wrestling comes on and you're not here, I'm going to miss you. You're tattooed on me already. I'm going to miss you. Every time I look at, so it's certain things that people should think about before they take that leap. As I do sometimes. I think about all the tears and the devastation that I would leave behind. And because I know I would.
Okay, all right. I mean, because I mean, and again, I listen to that song, and it depresses me, and it makes me sad that when he says that no one will cry over me, no one will care if I'm gone. The years of abuse or whatever that he had to deal with, and then at the end he says, it's you have to survive. So my next question is, because I my next question is going back to the mass shooters. You committed suicide after you've killed all these people.
Yeah, but
Do you
somebody.
do you expect somebody to cry over you? Do you expect someone to
Yes,
miss you?
yes, yes. Because you have to remember that, uh, as hard as it is to remember, they are still human too. They're just humans that did something heinous. You think Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold's mothers didn't cry over them?
Oh, definitely,
Right.
definitely.
They committed a heinous act. Their mothers cried over them. Their mothers cried because they made other mothers cry because other mothers had to bury their
Their
babies
children,
because of
right?
what their babies did. So, yeah, they're crying for the grief of other mothers. They're crying for their own grief. They're crying out of pain. They're crying out of guilt. They're crying because what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? So, yes, even the mass shooters, someone is going to cry over them and what they did. Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, everybody, that's all I got. I mean, Dread, you have anything else you want to add? Because
Uh,
I think we
to
got into the weeds today, and we
yeah,
said some things that may have
uh, yeah.
yeah.
Everybody out there, please go get yourself some help. Go talk to someone. Don't put a family member in the position of having to find you, having to wonder what else they could have done to help you. Somebody's gonna cry. There are a lot of people you're gonna devastate, and they're gonna miss you. Solid, take us out.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to have to change the title of this one when we post it. But everyone, thank you so much for giving up your Saturday, and we hope this show has been able to help someone. Until next time, peace.